Hello everyone, welcome back, and thanks for clicking on the link to watch this video. Kind of want to hash out the whole no item crisis, right, in QuickBooks when you're job costing. It's really important, very important, and if you're just going to pass through time and expense materials or items, and you're not really starting with an estimate, and you don't really care about any item detail on job profitability or job cost reports like estimates versus actuals, then don't worry about it. On your cost transactions, hit the expense on the expense tab or on the credit card charge or journal entry, whatever, assign the job. And then you can always go to, customers, invoice for time and expenses. And you can even do batch invoicing for time and expense now for all of this cost that's been incurred and assigned to jobs. And that's great. But let's say that these reports, like job estimates versus actuals or job profitability, are crucial, that you need this for your reporting needs. It's like a complete contracting, if you will, approach in QuickBooks, which it can do it. But you got to use items, right? You can't use the expense tab unless you're doing a $0 check for some things that we've shown in a few other of these job costing videos as of late. So items are the king as far as getting the detail. And you'll know if your client didn't use an item to track some cost, even if they're not passing it through and it's like a fixed estimate and the customer's already signed off on paying for like $5,000, whatever, right? You're not going to actually pass through anything to them again. You're going to create the invoice from the estimate, even progressively if you want. But you'll know if they did not use an item on the cost side when you look at your profitability and job cost reports, because you'll see a no item row at the very bottom, and I'll show you what that means. So let me just go and write a check, and I'll write it to Doug here. Whoop, sorry, bank account. Here's my checking, and I'm going to tab out and click continue writing check. And I have some expenses. Let's say I'm going to actually delete the item here, and I have an expense. I'm saying, well, I forgot some mileage. Let's say there's some mileage that, or let's just call it some kind of, let's look for mileage, or maybe mileage expense. Let me go find this one. And you just want to pass it through to what he did. And here we go. Travel to job site. Expense. Fine. Say it was $1,000. And you're assigning to a job. And you're thinking, great. This is going to show up on my job report. It'll show the cost. I forgot to incur it or something like that. So you assign it to the job. And you go ahead and click Save and Close. Now, you'll notice I have at the very bottom my profitability report and my estimate versus actual. I have this no item here for $1,000, and that is not helpful. You're like, well, what is that? So, I'm sure you see a lot of clients. There are a lot of people that have their job reports that look like this, have no items at the bottom. Because again, I'm not really passing it through, and they've already signed off on it. So I got to use items. We got to go back to that check, if you will, and change it. So, and it's not so much that you can just even do a $0 check. So you can go back to the original check and put it on items. So maybe I could do that if I go find Doug here really quick so you guys can see it. And let's say I have this check for $1,000. Right? Instead of using this, I would just then delete this and then change it to an item and actually look for the travel to site item, which could either be a service or a non-inventory part. I think in this case I did mileage. It's going to hit that same account. Right? And I can put an amount of 1,500, or it was 1,000, I guess, right? And then assign it to mlong, your job. When you click Save and Close, notice now the report, the profitability report, the no item's gone, and now it's been added up to, mileage. I have a little more there. So something to consider. The no item is critical, and it's just don't use the expense tabs on these cost transactions. Use the item tabs. And that should, hopefully that'll help out. Now, if you want to know, there is another video you'll find at the site here on fixing the no item using a $0 check. You can check that out if you want. But this is kind of just under the, a theme or theory on if these reports are critical to you, you got to use items. And when you don't use items, you'll know right away, because on these reports, you'll see the no item row at the bottom. Okay, and you'll know how to fix it or where to go. Hope that was helpful. Have a great day.